Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of Community TV with Adaire. I just turned myself off there. It's just taking photos. Let's mute that. This is TV for you by TV from me, where I speak to people in the community who are doing amazing things to add value to the lives of people around them. Now, it could be meditation, a yoga class, learning to cook, reading tarot cards, or healing, physical fitness, gardening, whatever you're interested in, it's going to be covered here. So join me with my special guests as we explore information and ideas that will help you live a fuller, more happier and productive life. Today we have an extra special guest on at an extra special time. We're normally live at 2 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time on Wednesdays, and today we have Scott Zarcinas is joining us today at an extra special time. Now, Scott says professional development has moved from niche concept to business essentials. Nothing has impacted more on business success since TV advertising, or maybe the Manager of the Month award. And it isn't enough to say you'll think about it. Your business needs it because your customers are judging the standard of your performance and complaining about it on social media. Dr. Scott Zarcinas, aka Dr. Zed, because no one can pronounce his surname, including myself. You can see I was tripping over that. He is a founding member of DoctorZed Publishing, and he's helped 500 plus authors write, publish, distribute, and market their book. He is the author of 8 books, including the self-help title, Your Natural State of Being, which addresses the personal issues of self-limiting behaviours and self-sabotage. That he is better known as the creator of the famous cricketing chant, "Ooh ah, Glenn McGrath." And that's how my voice is going, "Ooh ah, Glenn McGrath." Maybe I should try that for my voice warm-ups. Today, Dr. Zed will be sharing some of the ideas of how to beat procrastination and start achieving. So welcome, Dr. Zed. Otherwise, we'll call you Scott today. How are you?
That's good. That's fine. Thank you, Adaire. Yes, thank you. Thank you for accommodating me at this time as well, this special time.
It's my absolute pleasure. I'm just trying to show the names here and it's not coming up. So what I'd like to do is just while I play in the background here, there we go. I'm getting too impatient now. My name's going to disappear, I think. But anyway, while I'd love to know where the "Ooh ah, Glenn McGrath" came from. How did that happen?
Yes, it happened quite a while ago. It happened in the mid-90s when Australia cricket team were visiting the West Indies in the Caribbean, and I was living in London at the time, and I wanted to go to a cricket match in the Caribbean. I'd never done it before, so and from England it's quite easy to fly down there. So we went down there, and there was only about 50, 80 Australians in a packed arena of thousands and thousands of West Indies in Barbados.
Wow.
And being in West Indies from about 8 o'clock in the morning, they're all dancing and jiving and singing, and it's all very much a carnival atmosphere. And all us Australians were just standing there looking quite silly, like not knowing what we're doing there. And I said, guys, we need to come up with something. We need a chant. We need something. And I said something like, "Ooh ah, Cantona." Now, Cantona was a famous Man United player at the time in the mid-90s. And then I said, yeah, well, and Glenn McGrath was actually quite a young bowler at the time. He'd only just, I think it was his first tour overseas. And so it just happened that we started saying, "Ooh ah, Glenn McGrath," and that's just how it transpired on the day. And I think it took off. And I even believe that he titled his autobiography about his career. So he titled it Glenn McGrath. So there you go.
Oh, wow. Did you get the credit for that, or is it just one of those things that just happened?
Yeah. No, he doesn't know me. Even though, so he doesn't know who did it, but I know.
That is amazing. What a great story. Now we've got a few people joining us here on this Monday morning, and the lovely Mary McLeod is with us as well, and she's saying hi. If you are here, don't be shy, shout out, let us know that you are here watching. And I know Mary's in Adelaide, as is Scott. I'm up in Brisbane, where it's a bit cooler and a bit windy today. But if you are joining here from anywhere in the world, welcome. We are live on mytimetv.live for community TV with Adaire. We're broadcast out to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network syndication program. Oh, my God, there's so much. So if you're watching us on a smart TV, welcome from there as well. So we are getting out and about. Scott, that was a really brilliant story. I would just love to know, and I do know, I've had the privy of of hearing your story that's led you to be a writer, an author, and a publisher of many, many books. And so just share with us a little bit of how you came to be doing what you're doing, because your story is pretty amazing. Oh, before we do that, let's say we've got people here from Canada. So hello, Kelly. Great to see you here.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Oh, you've got an international audience. Well done. Hi, Kelly, and hi, Mary, and everyone else on board. Yes, look, I've always known from a very early age that I wanted to be a writer. But I got railroaded through the education system. You do well, you get railroaded into the system, and before you know it, you wake up and you go, am I where I want to be? But ever since I was at least high school, I was always the kid that had 3 books under his arms. I loved Stephen King, Wilbur Smith, and later Paulo Coelho. And one day I was going to be just like my idols, and I was going to write a book. But it didn't happen. I got accepted into the Adelaide Medical University, the medical school at Adelaide University. And I got in there and I started studying microbiology, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, everything you need to know. And I was telling everyone I was going to write a book. But 6 years passed, 7 years passed, and I didn't do it. I didn't write one single word. And I got accepted after I graduated from medical school. I got accepted as an intern in Sydney in a hospital called St. George Hospital in South Sydney. And so I packed up my bags and flew to Sydney and went to work, and I told everyone I'm going to write a book one day. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I then went to, where did I go? I went to London for a 6-week holiday and stayed for 10 years.
Wow.
So I got accepted into the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health. And all the while I was telling people, yeah, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. But by now, 15 years had passed. So I was just about to turn 30. So I procrastinated for over half my life about something about my dream. And I won't go into it now because I go into a lot more detail about how I beat the procrastination. Eventually started writing my book, which I can share a screen with you if you like, Adaire.
Do we have the screen share set up? More?
Yes, I think so. Let me just do this. And
we're having fun with tech again this morning. This is what it's like being on the leading edge of technology. This is cool. Yes, I've got your. So what I'm going to do is pop this up here. I'll put it on solo so that then you can talk through this on the screen. So
yes, as you can see, I've helped. I wrote my book Samantha Honeycomb, which is one of the first books I published. But there's my other book, Your Natural State of Being. But yeah, so as you can see, I was a doctor, but I procrastinated for so long that it almost never happened. And so my passion is actually to help people who may have even procrastinated longer than myself. Because what I like to do is that's why I've created the Life Leaders Club, because I want people to be more engaged, productive, inspired, focused, and purposeful. But really, at the end of the day, it's answering these 4 questions. Who are you? Why do you do what you do? What do you do? And how do you do it? Because I find if you answer those questions, you can really snap out of procrastination. But the difficulty is a lot of people have a bit of mind fog. They don't really know who they are. They don't really know why they do what they do. They don't really know what they want to do. They might know what they don't want to do.
Well,
I don't necessarily know
that.
And so they don't know how to do it. So what I've created is, here's what I do. I often throw this up on my presentations. I say, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this slide? So Adaire, can you just say?
Definitely a train derailed. And can I just say, when my life was down like in the bottom of where I wanted to be, it actually felt like a full-on train crash, not just a derailment.
I know where you're coming from. But I actually say to people that there's actually nothing wrong with this photo. This is a perfectly good diesel train. All that's happened is it's just fallen off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
All it needs to do is get back on track again, get back on the rails, and it will work perfectly again.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I help perfectly good people who've just fallen off the tracks a bit, get back on track again, and then work perfectly. And I do this through what I call my life leadership model. I've got my 9 stages. We start with character, purpose, beliefs, values, realignment, transcendence, being, abundance, and empowerment. And this is the 9-step program that I have to get people back on track and living the life that they were born to do. So this is essentially it. This is the wheel, the life leadership wheel, and it's a continual work in process. And so what I say is, it doesn't just stop just because you do one thing once. You have to keep on doing it over and over and over again until it becomes a habit. And so that's why it's a wheel. So that's basically what I do. That's basically how I help people get back on track. And part of that is stopping procrastinating, actually doing what they really want to do.
Yeah, so I think that is what you do is fantastic. And I know a little bit about the formula that you've developed, and it is it's a really easy to follow formula, and it really does help people get back on track. And when I look back and I think, well, and I love what you say about, your life might have been derailed, and so even if you're feeling like your life is a train crash, you're actually a perfectly fine, perfectly normal person who just needs to get back on the track. So, so even if you are feeling like it is a horror smash, it actually is probably not as bad as what you think.
Exactly. And that's a very good point. Is we can magnify our issues, make mountains out of molehills. I mean, yes, things are bad, and yes, pain exists, and yes, we can feel terrible and tragedy happens. Mm-hmm. But as perfectly good, steam engines or diesel engines, getting back on track is the way to move forward again. Because if you're derailed, you can't move forward. A train off its track can't move forward.
That's right. That's right. I'm just trying to find the right logo to put back up here, but that's okay. We'll keep talking. We do actually you've got a workshop coming up, and you're offering a scholarship. This is for Adelaide people only at this point. But if you want to just share a little bit about that, what's coming up.
They just have to be in Adelaide there. They can fly from Canada if they need to.
Kelly, here's your opportunity.
They just have to be here on the 31st of October, that's all.
So just explain a little bit about what's happening. Let's see. There we go.
Yes, look, it's a workshop here. We've nearly maxed out our tickets at the moment, so we've still got a few spare, and obviously we've got one more scholarship ticket that we're loving to give away. It's a we'll show the link in a minute. Basically, it's just you fill out a little form. Basically, I just want you to answer the question: why do you need to stop procrastinating? In 400 words or less. So if you can do that. And I love what you say, then you'll win the ticket. Look, the day is a very full day. I know there's a lot of information. There's a lot of bright, wide-eyed people in the audience every time I give this workshop, but that's because I'm offering you ideas and concepts that you may not have thought about before, but I get to the root of the problem. You know, my medical background has taught me that Band-Aids only work for a little while. You really need to dig out and get to the heart of a problem if you are seriously want to end it. So you have to get to the root of the problem, and that's what my procrastination workshop does. It gets to the real causes of why you procrastinate, and there are three main causes. They're usually to do with how you think, how you feel, and your instincts, your natural instincts as well. So these are always the barriers to us doing what we want to do. And I go into great depth. I go into the science of it. I go into the science of the brain neurology of why that happens, and how then I obviously give you a solution on how do you circumvent that.
So what was it? Why? How the three causes were?
Yeah, basically how you think, beliefs are a huge part. I often say, people often say, I'll believe it when I see it, but in reality, the truth is, you'll see it when you believe it. So beliefs are a filter through which we view the world. So are our emotions and our feelings. We view the world through them as well. And we also view the world through our natural instincts, which is, to put it simply, is basically the fight and flight response.
Yes.
So we have to circumvent that because it's a natural response. It's perfectly human to do that, but unfortunately it can get in the way of what we want to achieve. So I give great techniques and great solutions on how to do that. And that's what the whole day is about.
Yes, so it's about identifying those things that are holding us back and tapping into or providing information and tools so that we can be more resourceful in what we do and how we go about things. Yeah. So do you find that, because I know even here I've done boatload of work on myself and I still get into a state of overwhelm which leads to procrastination. So even when you're up and when you're in the flow, it's beautiful, but sometimes it just, you find that how does that work? I mean, it's obviously, does that mean there's still beliefs and there's still things that need to be uncovered? It's a work in progress, or how does that go?
Yeah, look, it is all a work in progress, and that's why I give the techniques that you need to perform daily, really, to get through it. A value system is also important. What you value, your prioritization of things is also important. So we delve into your highest value activities as well, because there is such a thing as good procrastination, because some things just don't need to be done. Or they can be delegated, or they can be deferred, or just dumped. So if you're getting caught up in that, well, you can prioritize what's important and what's essential and what's urgent, and then you can get through that sticking point.
So sounds a bit like Stephen Covey. Do you use the Covey quadrants, or is it similar to that?
Yes, I mean that's I use that more in my stress management talks, because overwhelm is a stress indicator or a stressor.
Yes.
So it's high importance, high urgency.
Yes.
These are the things. That's the 4 quadrants that you're talking about. Yeah, I go into that. I also go into that with my procrastination as well. So that's part of the process.
Okay, so is so you've got the stress management, the procrastination are 2 discrete, separate.
Yes.
Separate topics. You run workshops on both.
Yes, absolutely. It's too much. There's too much information to do together, unless it's a 2-day workshop. So I tend to separate them, even though there are overlaps, like fear, for instance. The fear of failure, the fear of success is also a cause of procrastination.
Yes.
But fear is also a symptom of stress as well.
Oh, okay.
So you can, so there's obviously overlap between the 2, but I talk about overcoming your fears. In fact, the module, I think it's the 3rd module on the day, is dedicated to overcoming fear. So, yeah, look, and that's why it can be quite confronting for people to get through fear. But as Helen Keller said, the best way out is through.
Yeah.
If you run away from it, the fear just chases you. You can't run away from it. So the best way is to go through. Yeah. So, and that's why the workshop can be a bit confronting. But I help you through it. It's not you're not alone.
Yes. And I would imagine that the participants, I mean, they're there obviously for their development and their growth, and everybody helps each other through these things, and you would form quite strong bonds, and people would, sort of support each other as well. So,
and obviously at the end of it, I mean, I have a coaching mentorship program as well. So if you needed to work through things on a one-on-one basis, obviously the help is there. I can help in multiple ways.
So in the introduction, Scott, we talked about businesses needing this type of training for employees and for themselves, to be able to manage themselves better in a better or more productive way. So is this workshop for just businesses, or can anybody come along? Who would be perfect people to come along to this workshop?
Well, just before I answer that, I'll just share my screen again with you, because that might help answer this question.
Sure.
And we'll get that up in a second. But the answer really is everyone. Everyone is perfect, because everyone procrastinates. I don't think there's a person in the world that has not procrastinated about something. So what I just want to show you here is just a few statistics that something like 20 to 25% of the population today are what called chronic procrastinators. There's actually a word for chronic procrastinator, and it's called a PROC. And this, PROC, P-R-O-C. It's actually a name for chronic procrastinator. Now, this statistic compares to the 70s, where only 5% of people were chronic procrastinators. So it's actually increased 4 to 5 times in the last 30 to 40 years. Something has happened in the last 30 to 40 years for this statistic to increase in such a significant way. And I think a lot of it's to do with technology.
Yes.
We get overwhelmed with too much. Instead of technology making life easier, I actually think it's actually made life more stressful. And we get overwhelmed with the amount of information. Now, procrastinators, 40% of procrastinators have suffered a financial loss. So it can really hit your wallet. If you procrastinate, you're a chronic procrastinator, you can actually lose money because of it. It's not just time. Procrastination just isn't the thief of time. It can actually steal your money as well.
Yes. Especially
this is a really interesting
for business owners who are, solopreneurs or very small businesses, and yes, I could see how that would work. And in fact, I've done it myself, and I'm yes, I'm laughing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nothing to laugh about, really, is it?
No, but I mean, sometimes you do need humor to work through it, you know. So this is a really interesting statistic. This was done by a Gallup poll, I think 2017. 85% of workers are disengaged at any one particular time. That means only 1 in 6 of your staff are actually engaged at the work at hand at any particular point. I mean, that's massive. And they actually worked out that works out about 90 to 180 minutes per workday per employee, which is 1.5 to 3 hours. And they actually did the sums, and this is US dollars. It costs businesses $9,000 per staff per year just in procrastination.
Wow.
So if you've got a staff of 10, I mean, you're looking at $90,000 just wasted just through procrastination. So, yeah, look, business owners, anyone that's identified themselves as procrastinators, like myself, and it can be anything. It can be a simple thing, just as you just want to write a book, or you want to go on a holiday that you just keep on putting it off, or anything it is that you're procrastinating about. Sometimes you're procrastinating about asking for a wage increase from your boss, or you're procrastinating about asking for a promotion in your job. And these are the sorts of things that you need to work through. If you want that promotion, or if you want that extra pay, and you're procrastinating on it, well, what's stopping you?
Yes. Yeah. And that's that fear. It comes back to the fear, doesn't it? About being rejected, or what you would have in return for that, what you'd have to offer, maybe even feeling like you don't deserve it. There's a whole heap of things that would be holding you back, and you help people work through that.
Yes. Yeah, so, absolutely. That's what the whole day is about. It's working through that. And fear, as you said, is one of the big ones. As I said, I dedicate an hour and a half to almost 2 hours on the day just working through some fears. Yeah.
And I see Mary's written procrastination down here, so she should, all things being equal, have received a message from the chat bot with a little link in there where you can go to the website. If you didn't receive it, that would be my bad, because I'm just thinking whether I said comment procrastinate or procrastination. If you didn't receive it, you can just come back, you just write PRO, or even the letter P down here, and you will receive it by chat bot. I just had this moment where I went, oh, did I write the wrong word? If I have, I will go back and fix it. So if you're watching this live, thank you for joining us. And if you're on the replay, thank you for joining us and watching the replay. We will, the winner will be drawn at what point, Scott? We'll give some people some time to write out their 400 words tell us what's going to happen. They write procrastination or procrastinate in the comments, and they will receive a link to go to a little website, and then what's the requirement for a scholarship to this?
Yeah. The link will take them to a website. In fact, I can actually even just show you. Let me show you how we can do this. It makes it even easier to explain how we're doing. So,
Mary's got it. All right, cool. So this is significant because the scholarships were valued at, it's nearly $600, and it's a very generous offer that you are, and very, very worthwhile. So just explain what it.
Yes, I mean, thanks for bringing that up. Yes, look, it's valued at $550. I mean, that's what people are paying to come to this. It's a full day, and it's a big investment. But yeah, the one free ticket's up for grabs here. So all you need to do is put in your name, obviously, and your email. I need your email, obviously, to communicate. And if you want to put in your mobile phone number too, that'd be great. But here's the question: why Why do you need to stop procrastinating? It's as simple as that. Can you tell me in 400 words or less why you need to stop procrastinating? And on Friday evening, I will announce the winner. So that's Friday Australian time, Central Australian time. I will announce the winner, and come on down to the workshop, which is on the 31st, the following Thursday.
Beautiful. All right. So let's get rid of that. And perfect. Now, one of the things that we do in Community TV with Adaire is, now I can't remember whether I briefed you about this or not, but I know you play along. We have the heart. And so what I need you to do, because I'm collecting a sort of like a little album that I'm putting together with flips of everybody who has been on Community TV with Adaire, but we need your face in the heart. So if you could move closer, and we didn't actually even rehearse this. I normally do. There we go. Now what we have to do is we have to smile for like 5 seconds so we can get a 1, 2 and perfect. So what that does is everybody who's on Community TV with Adaire will get we'll have a putting together with the hearts, because I think it's amazing what everybody who comes here, what they do for the community and what they offer the community, and we're all making the world a bit better place by what we do. So Scott, thank you so much for joining me today. I was going to say don't go anywhere, but what I'll do is actually no, I'll drop you out. Don't go anywhere, and we can talk in the lobby after I've wound up Community TV with Adaire. And thank you so much for sharing your expertise on procrastination and for offering up the scholarship. I think it's a brilliant opportunity for somebody to go along. It's in Adelaide on the 31st of October. And if you see this, make sure that you put in an application for the scholarship. So thanks, Scott.
Big pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone for listening.
So Scott Zarcinas, DoctorZed, if you can't pronounce his last name, and publisher, writer, author extraordinaire. And thank you for joining us. I'm Adaire Palmer. You're on My Time TV with Community TV with Adaire. Special episode today on a Monday morning. We are usually live on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. and look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. If you can make it for another Community TV with Adaire. We are syndicated out to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network's TV syndication program. And do look forward to Kelly's saying looking at the books on Amazon. So brilliant. Thank you, Kelly, and thanks for sharing that with us here. That's Scott's books that he has authored are on Amazon as well. Yes. So look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for Community TV with Adaire. Bye for now.